Hello and welcome back everyone to day 3 of Pragati 2021, which is powered by Trippy Miles and co-powered by AgriPay Payment Solution Private Limited. I'm Mehak and my co-host Dev. We both extend a very warm welcome to all of you. Before beginning with day 3, Dev, I want to ask you a question. Are people really born successful?
Well, no. People are not born successful. They just work hard and succeed on purpose. It's as they say, champions are people who did not quit. We, the entrepreneurship cell at St. Francis Institute of Technology, Mumbai, present to you Pragati 2021, a platform for the ingenious and bright minds of today for a better tomorrow. Pragati 2021 is powered by Trippy Miles and co-powered by AgriPay Payments Solutions Private Limited. Our prize partners CSB Bank and South Indian Bank. Our learning partners Imperial Overseas Educational Consultants. Our consulting partners CompuTrain Study Abroad Mumbai. Our chief education partners Inficon Futures. And our fabric partner Fabric Spa.
Our industrial training and life project partner, Inmovido Technologies. Our education partner, Last Minute Tuitions. Our outreach partner, ProjectContest.com. Our legal partners, Lawyered. Our youth media partner, YouThink. And our gifting partner, Belgian Waffle.
Whoa, we got Belgium waffles as our gifting partners.
Yes, you heard right. And they are going to give us all, the participants, the coupons, which are redeemable only at their shops.
And for us compares to, right?
Well, yes. Pragati organizing team better reward us in kind.
Mehek, before getting any more distracted from our task at hand and keeping our viewers waiting, let's get started.
Absolutely, Dev. So, our first project for the day is IoT based real time data monitoring and notification for agricultural application from KJ Somaya, Maharashtra.
Hello everyone, my name is Sriharsha Moa and now I'm going to give a small presentation on our project IoT-based real-time data monitoring and notification for agriculture application, that is Farm IoT. My group members include Rohit Desai, Alok Mahanto and Sachin Kumbar. So as we know, India is an agricultural country and most of its population is indulged in farming from various generations. But from the past 2 years, we have been getting in issues that the crops are have not maintaining that kind of quality and quantity of crop, and production of crops is also reducing from past 2 years. So our group thought of getting a research on why is this happening, and on research we found that the farmers are not able to get their soil parameters correctly predicted, like they do watering to their crops when it's not required, or they might use fertilizers in excess which is not required by that crop, and hence the crops get damaged hence the quality and quantity is reducing. So we have to do analysis of that land, and according to the results of the analysis, the farmers have to give fertilizers or watering or various other actions which are required. Like at this time, the soil the crops require water now at this time, and hence they have to give water at that moment, or fertilizer is now required and they give at that moment, instead of overdosing the fertility use of fertilizers or over irrigating, which is waste of resources and also not good for health of crops. There are some systems available in market which are providing solution, like they provide real-time monitoring and real-time data of their crops, but it's a very high cost and has a tedious installation setup and various rough GUIs which farmers are not capable and not able to handle, and hence they are not buying these systems. So the problem statement for our project is to design a system which is helpful for farmers in their cultivation. It is also used for tracking the soil parameters and taking proper action against the crop to maintain in ideal manner. Also, the system must be user friendly and must be made at a very low cost compared to other systems. So our proposed system has sensors which is used to measure the soil fertility parameters. These are include soil moisture sensor, temperature sensor, and latest we have also included the pH sensor as well. So these all data is taken and is given to a subsystem. The subsystems consist of an Arduino and a Zigbee module. The Arduino acts as a microcontroller which takes all the informations from the soil and sends it to the Zigbee module. The Zigbee module transits this information, and the transmitted information is received at the other Zigbee that is present at the receiver end. The receiver Zigbee consists an ESP32 module, which is a cloud-based module which is used to store the data in cloud servers, and hence the received data is stored in cloud, and this data can be monitored using laptops, PCs, or smartphones according to the GUI which has been generated by us. So as we can see, this is a transmitter end. Let me just zoom it for. So in the transmitter end, we have the sensors. This given to the Arduino board, Arduino Uno. The Arduino again transmits to the Zigbee S2C module to the receiver, and at the receiver end, there's another Zigbee S2C module which receives, gives to the ESP32 module, and ESP32 uploads in the cloud server. So these are the results which we obtained on testing. So this one is for the temperature, moisture, values which have been taken at the grounds, at our college grounds. So application, this system can be used in flowers, fruits, vegetables, daily monitoring. Also, if this can provide alerts to the farmers if their crops is being infected or any uncertain action has been taking place. We can also use for different fruits like mango, coconut, and it can also be used in tea and coffee farming as well. It can be used in other industrial fields like boilers, chemical tanks, and etc. FutureScope, this system is supported by wireless sensor network, that is WSN, which is new Indian sector and is not introduced in our local farming. The Zigbee module is a low cost and then high speed module which sends a information packet at a higher rates. So instead of that, we can also use a Bluetooth sensor which may provide more speed. We can include more sensors. Since we have included only 3 sensors, in future we can use other sensors like nutrition sensor, sulfur sensor, and a canopy sensor which can be used, which can provide more accurate data of our soil. Saving of water can also be the highlight of the system. Like we can automate our system by attaching water pumps or water supply. So as soon when the parameters like if the temperature increases, so watering has to be needed, so automatically the system provides the watering until the temperature cools down. So all this works can be done. So implementation is included in the next part.
Now that was great. Now we have Field Monitoring Autonomous Drone. FMAD is a system that is capable of spraying pesticides automatically over the agricultural land and also collect images and record videos of the field for future monitoring. It's from KJ Somaya, Mumbai.
Hello everyone, we are Team FMAD. FMAD stands for Field Monitoring Autonomous Drone. As we all know that India is an agricultural country, the agricultural production is one of the key factors in the stability of the global economy. So, correct and timely use of pesticides and proper observation of the crops helps us to boost the agricultural sector. In order to do this, we have developed a system, FMAD. FMAD is a system that is capable of spraying pesticides automatically over the agricultural land and also collect images and record videos of the field for further monitoring using various spectral imaging techniques. FMAD as a system is very low cost and has very less maintenance as compared to other systems available. FMAD increases the efficiency and also minimizes the manual work of the farmer to spray pesticides and monitor the field, which indeed becomes very beneficial. India is a fast growing country, and to fulfill the food requirements of the growing population, it is very much important to make the agricultural sector strong by using smart technologies and without causing any damage to the environment. The agricultural sector plays a really important role in the economy of the country. We need to ensure that the pesticides which are sprayed over the crops are used correctly and it is sprayed timely so that it does not damage the crop. Moreover, the time taken to spray the pesticides over the crop manually is very high. It takes around 1 to 2 complete days for 3 to 4 laborers to spray 1 acre of land. And the cost of the labor is also very high. It is around 1500 rupees per day. The proposed system is completely autonomous embedded system that will be able to fly over the field as per the coordinates set on the remote controller, as it is GPS enabled. As the proposed system is spraying over the field, the user will get a live video feed regarding the crops and the fields, so that if the user sees any kind of uncertainty over the field, he can resolve it and click images of the particular section for further examination. The system comprises of sensors, analog to digital converters, microcontroller, camera and various actuators. When any of the sensor fails or there is an error in the system, it automatically detects the error and sends feedback to the user so that the user can bring back the drone. If the user uses autopilot mode, then the drone will automatically return to the starting point if there is an error in the working of the drone. Since a microcontroller is used as the heart of the system, it makes the setup very low cost and effective. As the proposed system can be controlled via mobile handset, it becomes very user friendly. The signal is received from the MPU and then it is passed to the microcontroller. The microcontroller unit processes the signal from the MPU according to the user selected firmware and passes the control signal to the ESC. The signal instructs to make a fine adjustment to the motor, which in turn balances the multi-rotor craft. The installed control board uses a signal from the radio system and passes the signal to the microcontroller, throttle and the radar unit. Once everything has been processed, the microcontroller will send analog signals to the ESC, which in turn will adjust the speed of each motor to induce control flight. This was about the working of the FMAD. The FMAD can carry 10 to 12 kg of payload. That is, it can carry 10 to 12 liters of pesticides along with its components. The images which you can see on your screen are the real images of the prototype or the model that we have created. The implementation of the software part. When the FMAD is spraying pesticides over the field, it simultaneously records videos and clicks pictures of the field to check if there is any uncertainty over the field or to make further analysis. The pictures on the right side are the images which are taken from the drone, are the live images which are taken from the drone. First, the image is taken into the software, it is pre-processed and then the image is segmented into. After that, feature extraction in the image is done, which indeed leads to detection and classification of the plant disease. As you can see in the right side, there are two boxes as per the green color of the crops. If the crop is very dark green, then it says that the nitrogen is balanced, and if the color of the crops are towards yellowish, then it means that the nitrogen level in the crops is less and it needs to be taken care of. The second image which you can see on the right side is a live image taken from our drone. There are three boxes again which gives us the different colors which are feeded in the code. One color is raw green, the second you can see a lime green, and the third is the dry yellow. So when it is raw green, it shows that nitrogen is very much adequate. When it is lime green, it shows that nitrogen is balanced, and when it is dry yellow, it is showing that the nitrogen is inadequate. So the disease of the crops can be easily detected by the nitrogen content in them, which we are detecting using this software. Results. The proposed system has the potential to improve agricultural production at a very low cost and with ease. FMAD will allow farmers to choose aerial spraying of pesticides, which in turn will save them around 600 to 700 rupees per day, including pesticide cost. The drone will uniformly spray pesticides and fertilizers over the field, so there is no possibility of damaging the crops. The drone will save time for spraying pesticides, and also it will reduce the disease caused by fertilizer to the human body, such as skin disease, as per the research of the World Health Organization.
In the earlier part of the video, you saw a quadcopter which was able to carry 4 to 5 kgs of load, but now we have developed a hexacopter which is capable of carrying 10 to 12 kgs of payload, and this is the hexacopter that we have developed. We were unable to fly this in a closed environment as there were many restrictions due to lockdown. So once this lockdown ends, we will be flying this in larger fields and handing it over to a farmer. This is the hexacopter. As you can see, the sprayer is attached down below with a tank of 3 liters as of now, but it can be increased to as many liters as they want. This is the battery here, and this is the microcontroller with the GPS. Thank you.
Heading on to our next project, we have wireless EV charger using MDC technology. MDC technology replaces traditional EV charging methods from our very own college, St. Francis Institute of Technology.
Wireless charging and power transmission is becoming increasingly common, eliminating the use of wired plugins and cords. Due to the lack of safety and consumption of more space, most of the electronic gadgets are going wireless. If everything is going wireless, why can't we adopt this technology to charge electric vehicle as we know that there are different types of wireless transmission technology out there. One of them is traditional inductive coupling technique, which uses 2 coils to transmit power wirelessly. This technique works on the principle of Faraday's law of induction. A modern method like resonant inductive coupling uses the same principle. The only difference is the coils are synchronously coupled with each other, thus producing much greater efficiency than the traditional inductive technique. But the problem is it requires great amount of frequency, usually in kilowatt, to transmit power successfully. Due to the fact that they consume high amount of frequency, these techniques produce lots of heat as well as frequency interference with other devices. So this technology is not a great idea to charge electric vehicle wirelessly. Keeping all these points in mind, we Team Zeostar present to you MDC or magnetodynamic coupling technology. First, let us understand what is MDC. MDC technology or magnetodynamic coupling technology utilizes rotating permanent magnet to transfer power wirelessly across wide air gaps efficiently and with low frequency. As it utilizes less frequency, there will be less heat emission and hence low frequency interference. Here is the prototype Team Zeostar has prepared to demonstrate how MDC works. Here you can see 2 hexagon shaped rollers placed one above the other. They have been studded with magnets around them. When one of them rotates, the other roller also rotates under the influence of the magnetic field of the first roller. The second roller rotates simultaneously in a synchronous manner. There is no physical contact driving the second magnet, but it's pure magnetics. Here, the roller 1 is the transmitter and the roller 2 is the receiver. Let me begin the demonstration. Here, the transmitter rotates with the help of a powerful DC motor, and as explained earlier, the receiver also rotates. Here, as you can see, we have created our own dynamo system. In a real-life environment, the second roller with magnet can be used to produce electricity by harnessing the rotational motion of the magnet by winding some coil beside or around it, based on Faraday's law of induction. Then this induced current can be stored in the battery pack of the electric vehicle. Now, where can we use this technology? MDC technology allows us to transfer power from milliwatts to kilowatt. It has various potential applications. One of them is a wireless charger for electric vehicle. EVs like buses can use this technology for charging when stopping at bus stops or bus depot. As a result, the buses need to carry charge until the next bus stop, only where it will be recharged again, and this process is repeated again and again. This tech can be used for cars and other automobile as well. Cars can be charged when they are parked at parking lots without their owner having to deal with the problem of connecting the wired charger to their car. If one forgets to switch on the plug, the vehicle is not charged and he or she has to withstand its consequence. MDC technology can also be used to charge industrial equipment.
Heading on to our next project, we have automatic sanitizer dispenser. The main aim of the project is to take out the traditional way. It senses the hands and squirts the sanitizer into hand, making the process completely contactless. By Xavier Institute of Engineering, Mumbai.
Hello, we are from Xavier Institute of Engineering. Me, Ishika Shah, and my fellow groupmates, namely Nanika Das, Ritesh Guleria, and Divya Jangam, would like to present to you all our project model named Automatic Sanitizer Dispenser. So, beginning with the three very basic questions that comes to your mind: what, why, and where. So, the first and very important question: what is this project about? Basically, an automatic hand sanitizer dispenser is a contactless machine which dispenses alcohol based hand sanitizer. Sanitizers are highly recommended these days since they consist of alcohol, which is basically a solvent and also a very good disinfectant when compared to liquid or solid soap. Thus, the traditional way of washing hands by using soap and water can be replaced by a much more efficient way. The next is, why did we make this? So, for every appliance, the ease of use is what determines its feasibility. While choosing a sanitizer dispenser, you will obviously want something that will be easy to use, unlike the manual ones. Manual hand sanitizers require pushing the pump to release the sanitizer. Touching the pump can spread a lot of germs, as people with dirty hands use it too. So, the first and foremost perk of an automatic sanitizer dispenser is that it provides a truly touchless experience. There is no hassle of pressing a button or a handle, as in the case of the foot operated ones. And also, it eliminates a common contact point wherein the possibility of microbial transmission is high. And coming to the last question, that is, where can we use this model? This model can be installed in public places like offices, schools, malls, colleges, etc., to maintain cleanliness and to promote sanitation. Handing it over to Divya.
Problem statement for the project is: currently we are living through a global pandemic due to the outburst of COVID, which demands us to avoid physical contact with the people and maintain cleanliness in and around us. Practices like frequently washing hands and sanitation are of utmost importance to kill the germs. But the problem is the way we do it, that is by physical touch. which calls for a contactless alternative to avoid the spreading of the virus to the next person. Hand it over to Ritesh.
So comes the main question. How does our project work? This is how the connection of our circuit looks like. The VCC pin of IR sensor is connected to the emitter. The out pin is connected to the base through 1K resistor. Ground pin is directly connected to the ground. We have connected diode. This is optional to control the flyback. The IR proximity sensor detects the presence of an obstacle, which here happens to be the person's hand. When the hand is detected, it makes the out pin low. Normally, the out pin is set high. When it goes low, it turns on the PNP transistor. Here we have connected a 1K ohm resistor between the out pin and the base of the PNP transistor to avoid burning out of the transistor. As soon as the transistor is turned on, the DC pump goes on, which thus pushes the liquid out through the aquarium tubing. This is how our project looks like. This is a small demo of our project.
So this is the future scope of our project. Firstly, by adding a timer IC to the circuit, it reduces the wastage of sanitizer. Secondly, by adding a thermal sensing device to the circuit, it reduces manpower. And by replacing the battery by a USB cable, it makes our project portable. Next, we have the conclusion of our project. The automatic hand sanitizer device proposed in this paper is ultimately expected to contribute to contactless hand disinfection in public places and virus infection prevention. Additionally, it is economical and eco-friendly by decreasing waste emissions.
Experience is the leader of all things. We are all taught these from various kind of books. But when we actually learn them, we try to implement it into the real world. How about hearing this from the one who are in the path to change their dream into reality? Here we present you the next idea in our interview series of Anubhav.
Greatest qualities are being passionate and risk taker, so those two are there. However, there are the other three top qualities which I have personally thought of, like which will be the most important, will be leadership. Like you'll always need to be there and lead by example and keep your team together. Flexibility, because even though how well you plan, ultimately you will have to take a change of course. It will happen over the period of time. And the last thing is visionary. You need to have the vision and show your entire team that there is a vision, you have an entire vision and the entire plan to execute it. They try to get and look at the more overwhelming situation, the dream thing, and how actually things look like once you have been successful. People tend to forget the entire path, the journey that it takes to actually achieve that and reach that success. And the major thing, everyone gets into execution before 100% strategy is set out. My favorite entrepreneur has always been Bill Gates. The reason is one of the most revolutionary idea, that bringing laptops and computers in everyone's home, which was one day not even possible dream for anyone, was done by him. So it has always been. The most important thing in advertising is definitely what you do with your past and previous customers. So testimonials is one of the most important. This entirely varies based on what you are selling, like what your product or what your service is. It can be B2B, it's a different course of action. For B2C, it's a different course of action. But in both the ways, testimonials and social media plays the best role over here as of today. I would say definitely it does play to a certain extent, but I've always believed that you can only take care of the things which are in your control. So things which are not in your control, you need not worry about. Okay, so the first piece of advice will be definitely like go out there with a realistic plan. That is the most important. A lot of time people get too overwhelmed with the execution and just wants to get into that phase that let's try doing this and then let's see, then we'll figure it out. It gets difficult if you do not have 100% plan, and one of the major reason why the entire idea fails. And it is most important you have a plan, you know how to join all the dots in your entire plan, and you know how the execution will work.
Heading on to our next project, we have face mask detection using AI and IoT by IRTT. Detection of people who are not wearing face masks and sending intimation messages to authority people through IoT. It can be implemented in public places like hospitals, etc.
Hello everyone, my name is Saran Prakash, a student who is studying in Institute of Road and Transport Technology, and I'm here to represent our project Face Mask Detection using AI and IoT. And my team members are Mano and Jay Rahul Khan, and our mentors Dr. R. Sidil Kumar, Assistant Professor of EC Department, Institute of Road and Transport Technology. Focus. The coronavirus pandemic has reached almost every country in the world, which made our life on hold. Many lifestyle changes are induced by coronavirus. Face masks and social distance are used as tools to reduce spread of coronavirus. Ignorance and lack of awareness of the people will result in serious problem of increase in spread. Hence, we need strict enforcement. So, therefore, the AI is an scrutiny tool. Objective. Prime function is to identify the persons not wearing face mask in public, intimating through short message using IoT, thus making all people in the public places to wear mask. Block diagram. Real-time images from camera or video stream is used as input. Then they are fed to image processing unit where face with mask and without mask is detected. Based upon image processing result, intimation message and buzzers are activated. Experimental setup. Video stream or camera is connected to Raspberry Pi. In Raspberry Pi, image processing is implemented. The intimation message is sent through IoT. The buzzer and LED are connected to general input-output pins of Raspberry Pi. In the detection algorithm, here we used YOLO, you only look once object detection algorithm. YOLO version 3 variant of YOLO algorithm is used. Why we used version 3 is because it has improved training and performance characteristics. Next, we move on to YOLO workflow. Initially, the data appreciation is done. After the data set is annotated using IMG label tool, the YOLO V3 configuration are done and data set is trained. As a result, we obtained the trained YOLO weights. Using trained weights, face mask detection is done. Next, we move on to IoT. Blink servers is used as an IoT communication tool. It builds interfaces for controlling and monitoring hardware remotely. Application is available for both iOS and Android mobiles. Why we used Blink is because it has easy interface and more ways. From the Blink, it sends notification and email through server. Here the Blink surface. Here the left side image shows mobile application and right side image shows the Blink connected with Raspberry Pi. Functioning. Real-time image is sent to Python script. YOLO trained weights are loaded. Result of face mask detection with count is obtained. Status and counts are sent through IoT. From the count, we can done the activation of buzzer and LED. Here are our output samples. The people with mask and without mask is detected perfectly and clearly. Application zones. It can be implemented in public places, hospitals, airports, densely populated regions, institutions, and event management.
We are going to explain our prototype model. Our prototype model consists of an Raspberry Pi unit. and which is connected with an laptop by means of using USB cable and Ethernet. Instead of connecting with the laptop, we can also interface the Raspberry with a separate monitor and a keyboard. And a mobile app, it's a mobile which consists of a Blink app. The Blink app is connected. The mobile is connected with the Raspberry Pi by means of using internet. Now I am going to run a program for face mask detection. Initially I am opening the terminal and running the Python script for face mask detection. The Python script loads the YOLO weights from the disk, and an image is being compared with the trained weights, and based upon the trained data, the output image will be displayed. A mail is sent to. After face mask detection, an LED and a buzzer is glowing. This image shows the result of the face mask detection along with the count and the status of the condition. There are 7 persons with no mask and 3 persons with mask, and the status is danger. Based upon the status, a message is sent to the mobile, which consists of an status and the faces with mask and without mask. And then the condition, based on the condition, the LED and the buzzer is glowing. To turn off the LED and buzzer, we are provided a button which when we press the button, the program will stop and we can execute the another program. Now I am going to run another image. Blink is connected and YOLO weights are loaded from the disk, and the image processing is happening. Image processing has been finished, and a mail and notification is sent to mobile. Based upon the condition, the LED is glowing. And the output is shown here. There are totally 42 faces with mask and 1 face without mask. So the status is warning. So the buzzer is glowing. Buzzer and the LED is glowing. To turn off the buzzer and LED, I am pressing the button. This is the notification sent to the mobile by means of using Blink. We also received an email through the Blink. Here the email is. In the email, the status and the persons with mask and without mask are received. This is about our model. Thank you.
Moving on, we have altitude measuring using BMP 180 in drones from Channabasaveshwara Institute of Technology, Tamil Nadu.
Hello, I am Nagendra Prasadji and my teammate is Sudarshan Aman. We both are studying in third year mechanical engineering in Channabasaveshwara Institute of Technology, Gubbi. And our project is altitude measuring system using BMP 180 in drones. Project is based on measuring the altitude reached by any avionic vehicles in compact space and reducing onboard weight. In quadcopter, the object altitude is measured in order to maintain trajectory and capacity of vehicle in flight. In current technology, the altitude is measured separately with a different sensor, and other requirements are measured with each different sensors. The sensor BMP 180 has pressure and temperature sensor integrated on single chip. Pressure data is manipulated to read altitude that the vehicle has reached and plotted using Python in real time with low cost and less space on the drone. And hereafter the methodology is going to be explained by my teammate Sudarshan Aman.
Thank you, Nagendra. This we are focusing only on specific measuring system, which is altitude. We are using required components to transfer data from BMP180 sensor. We are using two microcontrollers for transmitting data from sensor and receiving it on system where Python virtual environment is established. We have used radio modules and RF24L01 as transceivers. As data from sensor is sent to microcontroller on board, the raw temperature and pressure values are sent through transmitter end to receiver end, and the serial data of microcontroller is received and manipulated in Python, and the difference in pressure is manipulated so that it shows the altitude of the vehicle. The data of the altitude is plotted using Python matplot library in real time. The equation used to convert pressure to height is given in the slide, where pH indicates pressure at specific height, P0 is calibrated height at ground level, G is acceleration due to gravity, M is molar mass of air, R is real gas constant, T0 is initial temperature or room temperature. The pressure equation is manipulated so as to get the data of height. Here we are implying metric units, so height is measured.
Let's see the live action and the circuit which is mounted on quadcopter. The altitude measuring sensor system is mounted on quadcopter. In this, the barometric pressure sensor or BMP180 measures temperature and pressure. The quadcopter is initially calibrated in reference to ground level. The data is transferred from BMP180 through NRF24L01 radio module. This is received at receiver end. The serial data from receiver end is transmitted through USB to Python programming code. In Python, the pressure data is manipulated to height as shown in the above equation. The height is calculated and is shown in the graph which will be shown later. When the drone takes off, the atmospheric pressure decreases, resulting in change in height or altitude of the drone, which is then plotted in Python.
The altitude measuring system is mounted to the leg of drone. As we can see in this footage, when drone takes off from initial ground level, where it is calibrated as 0 point, the graph shows the ground or initial altitude of the drone. When the drone is in flight, the corresponding altitude increases, which is graphed in blue line in real time. Simultaneously, as the drone comes back to the ground position, the altitude decreases, which can be observed in the graph. This sensor is low cost, compact, and has many advantages over any other sensors for measuring altitude and temperature simultaneously. With serial communication, it is graphed in Python in real time.
Next in line, we have proactive analysis of pedestrian safety at signalized intersections from Anna University, Pune.
The problem identified here was in a 4-arm signalized intersection. In a 4-arm signalized intersection, the green time for a particular approach is utilized by both right-hand vehicles and the pedestrian crossing from this approach at the same green interval time. This leads to a conflict between right-hand vehicles and the pedestrians. Generally, drivers are giving more attention to the pedestrians. This leads to maybe accidents also. So this is the main problem identified in the project. In India, most signals were set up like that in the right-hand vehicles and the pedestrians were approached in the same green intervals. Mainly in the metropolitan cities like Chennai, Delhi, Kolkata due to the traffic congestion. The objective of our project is to show the real-time interaction between right-hand vehicles and pedestrians, and we have to give a solution to this problem proactively. For the real-time interaction between right-hand vehicles and pedestrians, we have adopted a machine learning which was done in the MATLAB software. This is a working program in the MATLAB. While giving the run, the coding is running in the command window and the output will be shown this in the command window. So this is the final output we have given. This is the two for the ANOVA. For this model, we have validated with the ANOVA. ANOVA means analysis of variance. First, initially, the data has to be clustered. Clusters means this means a classification to know the which value is severity or dangerous between a pedestrians and right-hand vehicles. These are the four values in the below command window. The first value, this means these are the 5 parameters we adopted, and the first value, this means 0.6 to 2.4. This means that if the value ranges from this value, there is a high risk between right hand vehicles and pedestrians, which can lead to accident, and the probability of accident is more high when the value is between lies in the value 1, and the value lies in the value 4 means it means a low risk between right hand vehicles and pedestrians. For this we have adopted this modeling which are done in MATLAB.
Finally, we are given solutions and recommendations to solve this problem proactively. Thank you.
Now we have deep learning for plant species classification using leaf vein morphometric from Bannari Amman Institute, Tamil Nadu. Here, different plant species are classified and identified using leaf morphometric by deep learning.
Warm greetings. My friends and I from Bannari Amman Institute of Technology are very privileged to share our work with you. Our team UID is 1125. Our project is about a deep learning for plant species classification using leaf morphometric. Introduction. There are a number of plant species which are extremely huge in the universe. It is difficult to classify and identify the plant by a single individual. So we step to automated or computerized system to identify and classify the plants in short span of time. Problem statement. As there are many plant species which are difficult to classify, we step into an automated system where we can use leaf shape and morphometric things for classifying it. Here, leaf vein gives an accurate result for it. So we are going to use leaf vein in our future works. Methodology. Here, the first method is image acquisition, where we capture an image, and then is image pre-processing, where we remove unwanted things from the image, and the third one is feature extraction, where we include the features to identify the plants, and the third one is classification, in which many deep learning algorithms are used. Here in image sampling, the raw image is taken, and in image pre-processing, the leaf borders are taken by contour method, and in leaf extraction, shape, texture, and variations are noted, and in classification, deep learning algorithms are used. In the existing project, solver edge detection methods are used, but in our project, in pre-processing method, we have used contour methods because contour method takes only less memory for storing the features, whereas solver edge detection method takes more amount of memory for it, for leaf extraction. Before undergoing this project, we have taken and studied so many literature survey, which helped us to take this motto and do the project.
This is image pre-processing. In this, raw image are not appropriate for analyze purpose. So it is to be converted and processed into the needed format. And the image was resized using MATLAB. And the image background noises were reduced using Adobe Photoshop. The contour image is used segmented out of region from the image. All images were converted from RGB images into grayscale images. And in feature extraction is a key stage in this research. In feature extraction, the common features such as shape, texture, color, and vein is used. Deep learning algorithm, namely support vector machine algorithm, were employed to detect features. The leaf area was computed for density calculation of vein, branching endpoints, and areoles. And this is the snapshot in which the leaf is classified using support vector machine algorithm. And the accuracy rate of this algorithm is 88%. And before seeing this video, let's go into the procedure. This is the algorithm. in which we've already created a data set. This data set include the features of leaf such as area, perimeter, rectangularity, circularity, and so on. In pre-processing, first the image is fed, and this is represented here. And the images, the image is also converted into RGB format. Here the color feature are being extracted. And the texture feature are extracted here. The Flavia file is fed here. And the data set is being read. And the data set conclude these points such as area, parameter, length. Target labels are created. Here the leaf is being scaled. Likewise, the size of veins and parallel venation such as are scaled. Here the SVM classifier model is used. In testing using MATLAB, the image of the leaf is being obtained and it is scaled. This is the final output. Using MATLAB, we have scaled image, and these are the result in which we obtained from the scaling, and thus the final output common names such as Southern Mongolian is displayed.
Our motto is to create awareness among public to know about more plant species in the universe. Social impact. It saves time for the human and it increases the power of human. And by doing in this method, we can save the time and it is more accurate result and more number of species can be identified within time, sir. Thank you.
Heading on to our next project, that is modernization of automated guided vehicles by using ultrasonic sensors and RFID from Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Technology, Coimbatore. AGV is used to move plants, warehouses. Here we described fuzzy logic is used for tag localization by RFID technologies.
Good morning, sir. This is Kapilan, currently studying second year mechanical engineering at Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Technology, Coimbatore. Here I have presented my project in the title of modernization of automated guided vehicle by using ultrasonic sensor and RFID technologies. My project team members are Avinash and Balaji from the same year of mechanical engineering, and our mentor is Mr. Veerakumar. Automated guided vehicles are a simple and efficient way to automate facilities in most industries for transportation of goods from one place to another, which can be controlled by either manned or unmanned. These AGV vehicles are perfect for dangerous tasks and are safer to use than traditional forklifts. The types of AGVs are driverless trains, pallet trucks, unit load carriers. Objective of our project: we use fuzzy logic for their processing as well as control of the entire navigation process. Special type of a fuzzy cognitive map was proposed. Cheap and reliable solutions for a wide variety of AGVs. Problem identification in the most of the industrial AGVs are wire system installation and maintenance or replacement can be more challenging. It can be expensive and difficult to reinstall wired AGV at a separate location. It can be a much better choice to carry out communication between AGV units and lower the RFID based systems wired complexities. The proposed methodology of our project are: in this project we described about fuzzy logic is used for tag localization as well as for designing a fuzzy model of the RFID tags. Evolutionary approaches as optimization methods try to minimize the localization error. Our approach enables navigation also for simple devices not owning complex sensors. Its basic idea is based on the combination of a grid comprised of passive RFID tag for robots, localization and ultrasonic sensor for obstacle avoidance. The components used in are PIC microcontroller, voltage regulator, DC motor, RFID reader, LCD display, ultrasonic sensor. The block diagram are as follows. Working principle. The detailed working principle of our project is explained in video demonstration. The hardware setup are as follows. The overall cost estimation of our project is 11,400 rupees only. And the conclusion, the suggested system offers automated operation for the industrial and production setting. With a decrease in the selection moment of a suitable material, output can be improved. It is anticipated that the system will provide stability and a safe atmosphere. The system can be improved in the future with full centralized control via GPS so that no human operator is needed. The video demonstration will be followed up by my teammate Balaji.
Here we proposed a real-time navigation experiment, such as a simple vehicle using RFID technology and ultrasonic sensor. Our project deals with the examination of possibility to interconnect the RFID tag and ultrasonic sensor. The signals produced by these two technologies are often affected by uncertainty and incompleteness. In order to overcome this problem, a special type of fuzzy cognitive map was proposed for the processing as well as control the entire navigation process. The navigation method which may not be more accurate but which can be developed at a low cost and reliable solution for a wide variety of automated guided vehicles. The AGV are a simple and efficient way in most industry for a transportation of goods from one place to another place. The components are used in our project are ultrasonic sensor, 6-volt battery, RFID reader, 2 DC motor, PIC microcontroller, display, relay. The wheels are connected with a 2 DC motor and RFID tag. The ultrasonic sensor are used to identify an object or obstacle by using sound waves. The ultrasonic sensor sends the signals to the PIC microcontroller when an object is identified at the range of 30 cm. And this is a PIC microcontroller. For our project, in order to control the direction of AGV, we select the controller as a PIC microcontroller because of low power consumption and high performance ability. The function of the PIC microcontroller is to control the direction of a vehicle through relay coil. The main thing of our project is RFID reader and RFID tag. The RFID, which means a radio frequency identification, is fixed at the bottom of the vehicle, which is used to read the information stored on a RFID tag by using radio waves. The tags used are right, left, wait and a stop tag. When a RFID reader reads the right tag, the vehicle will move on right side. When RFID reader reads the left tag, the vehicle will move on left side. When RFID reader reads the wait tag, then vehicle will wait for some time. Then we have to press the start button to restart the vehicle again. This is the start button. Then we have to press the start button. The vehicle will restart again. Finally, the reader reads the stop tag. The vehicle will stop at the place itself. Thank you.
Now, our final project of the day, IoT-based Smart Aquarium Monitoring System from Bannari Amman Institute of Technology, Tamil Nadu.
Hello everyone, we are from Banaryaman Institute of Technology. I am Deepashree. My teammates are Deepika, Kavyashree and Kaushika. Here we are going to present the video for an IoT based smart aquarium monitoring system. This is the coding part of our system. Here we are using Arduino IDE software. For implementing our code, first need to compile our program. After successful compilation, then going to upload our code. Here you can see the code uploading. Then a new window is opening, which is the serial monitoring output. From this window, we can view the values of temperature, turbidity, pH and distance of the water level. This is the real-time implementation of smart aquarium system. This is our fish tank. To the left bottom of the aquarium tank there is an pH sensor, and to the right side bottom turbidity sensor is fixed. Relay is connected for the water pump. There is an DH11 temperature sensor, and to the upper right corner there is an Node MCU controller and ultrasonic sensor. If the pH value is less than 7 or greater than 8, and if the turbidity value is greater than 5 NTU, then the dirty water is pumped to the another tank which is connected to the main tank. The murky water which is coming from the main tank is collected, recycled and purified in the second tank. And then another small tank, which is third tank, is to further purified, and then the dirty water which is accumulated in the third tank is let out from the pipe, and the filter water in the third tank is reverted back to the main tank using water pump. Hence, to control the process automatically, we are using an IoT based open source app called Blink. In this app there are 4 dashboards. Yellow is for distance, red is for pH, orange is for temperature and green is for turbidity. Below to the distance and the pH dashboard, there were 5 LEDs indicating the level of the water in the tank, that is very high, high, medium, low, very low respectively. These 5 LEDs glow according to the sensed value of ultrasonic sensor. By knowing all these information from this app, we can have the best aquarium monitoring system. The collected data from the Node MCU will be continuously monitored and updated in this app correct time to time interval. Thank you.
So Dev, looking at all these phenomenal performances, I have concluded the fact that there is no substitute for hard work. We must all burn midnight lamp to achieve certain set of goals we all have set in our lives.
Yes, Mehak. It is truly an honor to have such determined participants in Pragati this year. And it just keeps getting better as we have exciting projects and enthusiastic participants waiting for you tomorrow. That's the last day of our live stream. So can't wait to see you tomorrow. You all know where to come. Until then, don't forget to like, share and subscribe.